if you're going to change the human being, then you need to understand those fundamentals, those things that they feel are so fundamental to them, which are wrong, and then you start changing them. Because if you can change those things that are so fundamental to someone which are very wrong, then you can change them. Like, for example, the example that I gave, the things which are so fundamental, like to Africans, is that when they sit down to have dinner as a family, the father has to pick food first because he's the head of the house. But you know what? It's okay. He can pick food first, but he shouldn't save himself. What he should do is he picks food first and saves the last born, so that the last born knows that the one with power has a duty to save the one who is very weak.
No matter how I try, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, I'm still not pulling up for you.
Alright. Yeah. Now look, just like the title says, what are my thoughts on racism? Okay? Well, regarding racism, myself, I come from a very mixed family. Okay? I come from a family where I have got uncles, okay, who are white, and I have got, uncles who are black, but they're not Zambian. You see what I mean? So I come from a family where we're mixed. So the way I view racism is quite different. Okay, because I just believe that racism is ignorance. It's something which people who don't know what they're doing do. Okay, there are some people out there who were brought up in a monoculture. Okay, they were brought up in a monoculture. All that they know is just how to live among themselves, but that's not what I know. I was not brought up in a monoculture. I was brought up in a multicultural environment and a multicultural family. Okay, so I view people who have a different skin color as just same people as me. I don't view them as different because I don't see that difference. I've never grown to see that difference. Okay, now regarding what is happening in the United States of America, I feel that the police officers in the United States are just radicalized into thinking ill about certain individuals in the society. Now that is from the way they lived, from the background that they come from. You know what I'm saying? They pick it up. So when they join the police service, I feel that the police service should deliberately have a program, okay, that helps those people who have lived in prejudiced environments to start to think different. Okay, I'll give an example. I'm doing a master's degree in until I fail to pay. Alright, so when I was doing my master's, okay, they were basically changing our minds. They were like changing the way we look at life. They were teaching us things like, if you're gonna set up a company, then it's going to be a born global company, because you are setting up your company in the 21st century. All companies set up in the 21st century, they have got to be born global in order for them to achieve maximum success. You see what I mean? Now, when a company is born global, then they don't regard their environment as the only market where they can sell products. They regard the whole globe as one country. The whole globe as one country, but with different jurisdictions. So all that they care about is, if we are in this jurisdiction, we need to learn the culture of the people and we need to sell our products to them. So they study different jurisdictions of the planet and work out where their products can be sold. You see what I'm saying? And that's the masters in business that I have been doing. Okay, as soon as I have some money, I'm gonna go and complete it. It's just that I went broke. I'm like down broke, super broke, so I can't afford the school fees, so I had to like take a break. Okay, so the same thing about racism. When someone is just taught that people who don't look like you are not equal to you, then that's how that person is gonna think. Wherever that person goes, they're gonna practice that. Now imagine when such a person joins the police service, okay, they wanna practice what they were taught at home. You get what I mean? I'll give another example. Being an African, there are some problems that I've noticed among Africans, which I feel all Africans must change. Okay, now those problems are like, for example, each time an African family sits down, the father, I mean, if they sit down to have dinner, for example, as a family, the father will always pick the food first. When the father picks the food first, he does not save anyone, he saves himself. You get what I mean? Now, when a family has, for example, 7 members, I mean 5 children, the one who is the last born is always going to be eating buns each time they sit down as a family. He's always going to be eating buns. You know what I'm saying? And the father is not going to be like conscious, like, look, the last born in my family is always eating buns. My last born child is always eating buns. Let me do something about it. African fathers don't think about it. Now, if someone grows up in a home as a last born, and he's always been taught that when you have power, you take everything. You get what I mean? What is it going to be like when he gets a leadership position? He's going to abuse it. You get what I mean? Because he's taught from home that when you have power, you take everything. Because his father was always picking the best pieces of meat, the best pieces of chicken, and saving himself. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest problem I've noticed with African families. Now, what you notice is that each time someone brought up from an African family gets into a leadership position, they show this power distance that, hey, I'm in control. So everything, I decide. No one contributes. You know what I'm saying? And they save themselves a big share, not even looking at someone who has nothing. They don't look at that, And I noticed that when I lived in the United Kingdom, it was the opposite. Each time I got invited by a white family, okay, to go and have dinner with them, okay, to go and hang out, with them, I noticed that the father would start by saving the lastborn in the family. And you ask the lastborn, what do you want to eat? You know what I mean? And the lastborn is given what he wants to eat. And once the lastborn is given what he wants to eat, then that's what he, starts to eat, right? Yeah. Now, what that does is that it makes that lastborn know that, oh, if you have got power, you don't save yourself. Okay? If you have got power, you have to save others first before you save yourself. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, in other words, like I said, just like among Africans, the problem that we have comes from our family setup. We have bad family setups where, selfishness is practiced. Fathers practice selfishness, and the selfishness is transferred to the children. And in the end, the children are sort of radicalized into, just being like, if you got power, you could take everything. You see what I'm saying? Now, I see that some people, who practice racism are sort of in a similar situation. You see what I mean? Whereby, they are just taught that people who don't look like you are not people. People who are black are not people. People who are black are bad. And you find that those people, wherever they are, wherever they go, whatever positions they get in society, they still practice what they were taught at home. The only way to help them is to change. You see what I mean? To change and make sure that they stop practicing that, meaning they have to go through a program that changes their mind, okay, so that they stop practicing racism. And I think that if the American Police Department had such a program, then they would have reprogrammed all the officers into loving to deal with all races, and into loving to just do their job, staying professional. You see what I'm saying? Very, very important to stay professional. So what I was saying is exactly what I've just said, because at the end of the day, you know, it's hard to change a human being. If you're going to change the human being, then you need to understand those fundamentals, those things that they feel are so fundamental to them, which are wrong, and then you start changing them. Because if you can change those things that are so fundamental to someone which are very wrong, then you can change them. Like, for example, the example that I gave, the things which are so fundamental, like to Africans, is that when they sit down to have dinner as a family, the father has to pick food first because he's the head of the house. But you know what? It's okay, he can pick food first, but he shouldn't save himself. What he should do is he picks food first and saves the last born, so that the last born knows that the one with power has a duty to save the one who is very weak. You see what I mean? But if they keep on just saving themselves, then even when they go and become managers, they go and become, presidents, they go and become ministers, they're just gonna save themselves because that's what they were taught at the dinner table. You see what I'm saying? The same thing with racism. If, for example, you are taught that, each time you go in society, you are the one who is superior, everyone else is inferior, then that's what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Until you go through a program that changes your thinking. The moment your thinking is changed, you're gonna start looking at the world different. And when you look at the world different for the better, then you're gonna see a different world, and everything is gonna suddenly get better. Basically, that's how I feel about racism. This is how I feel about why America is going through what it's going through. It's because it hasn't taken time to start teaching everybody who is in position of power, everyone who's in position of influence, to understand why it's important to love everybody the way they love themselves. It is from the Bible, because I'm a Christian. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. But you know what? I've noticed that even if I'm a Christian, these people out there who's got so much influence from their culture than even the Christian culture. So you're gonna find that even in a Christian nation, you're gonna see how bad people, until they are taught, they're taken through a program to make them really understand what it means to do good, because that's the only way they're gonna appreciate and start to do good, because they're gonna start to see the advantages of doing good. Alright? Hey, don't forget, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification. Alright? I love you. Peace. Hey, God bless America and God bless Zambia.